So because PHP is a server-side language, it can do anything a server can do. And that is quite a bit more than what you can do with, say, JavaScript or jQuery. And one of the really useful features of PHP is it allows you to send email. So this is very useful for something like a contact form, because you can code up the form to send you an email when someone posts a contact request. So I'm going to show you the simplest way to do it, and then give you a number of reasons why you might not want to do it completely that way, and give you a few more complicated, slightly better alternatives. So the simplest way to send mail with PHP is using the mail function. And all we have to do is pass the email address, the subject, the body, and any other information for the email to that function, and the email will get sent. So let's set up all those variables. We might want to start with email2. So that could be rob@codestars.com. Subject, something like, I hope this works. Then the body of the email, something friendly, I think you're great. And then the most complicated bit is we set the headers, which is a way of setting the kind of options for the email. And the only really important one there is the from header. So we enter it as from, and then a colon, and then whoever the sender email address we want to be. So we might have, if I'm sending it to myself, rob@robpercival.co.uk. All right, so that's all the information that we need. Then we just use mail, and then we pass the various variables to it. So we start with email2, then subject, then body, and then headers. And that's it. It's as simple as that. It's often very useful for us to know whether this has been successful though. And this in itself actually returns either a 1 or a 0 depending on whether or not it's been successful. So we can actually put an if statement around it directly like that. And then if it's successful, this if statement will return true because it will be a 1. And if it's not, then it'll be a 0. So the if statement will return false. So we could do something like, if it was successful, the email was sent successfully. And otherwise we'll say the email could not be sent. All right, so let's just try that out and see what we get. Oh, we don't need to resubmit that form, we can just reload the page. Great, the email was sent successfully. And if we did something like forgot to include the email to, then we'd see the email could not be sent. Great, so that's the basic way of sending a mail using PHP. What are the downsides of using this method then? Well, the main one is spam. So because I can choose any email address I like as my from email address, you can imagine spammers are very excited about this. So they like to send emails from various banks or from Twitter asking you to reset your password or something like that. And they can, in theory, with this script, do that very simply. Because of that, though, email clients or providers like Gmail and Yahoo have become very sophisticated about what they will consider spam. So even though this email was supposedly sent successfully, that doesn't mean that it will be received by the user. So if you really want to get into this, you might want to start with something like send PHP email without it going to spam, and you'll see a huge amount of advice here. So if we have a quick look at this one, avoiding spam filters. So that's your basic mail. So one way of doing it is to put more detail in the headers. We've got MIME types and all sorts of more information there. Another thing is to not try and send email from anywhere other than the domain that you're running the script on. So this would probably fail because I'm running the script on completewebdevelopercourse.com, but I'm saying that the email is from rob@robpercival.co.uk. So if I change that to rob@completewebdevelopercourse.com, that's more likely to get through because it's being run on the same server that it's claiming to be from. And there's a few other options there as well that you can do to attempt to get past the spam filters. One completely different option, which I actually use quite a lot, is to use a service like Mandrill. And what that allows you to do is send email through Mandrill servers. And because Mandrill know what they're doing, they set up their servers very well so that they are much less likely than your servers to be marked as spam. So they charge a very small amount per email, but those emails are much more likely to get through than if you use this method. And you can see from there what their website is all about. So it's all about deliverability. If you're sending mass email, I would recommend using something like Mandrill or MailChimp. Having said that, if we want to do something with a contact form, we're actually relatively safe because we're only sending email to ourselves. So you could even set up a rule in your email client to say anything that comes from rob@completewebdevelopercourse.com, don't send it to spam, even if you think it is spam. So this method is perfectly reasonable for a contact form. All right, so now we've learned that a contact form is exactly what we're going to make, and this will give us an opportunity to use our jQuery validation as well, and our PHP server-side skills with post variables and email sending. And we'll do that in the next video.